Oh no! This chapter is so freaking short, but it does have a lot of good scenes. I am melting. I am pretty satisfied with this chapter because the baby Nakyum in the beginning of this chapter is so freaking cute. It's such a great added bonus. But Inhan kinda ruined the cuteness. But this chapter made my emotions go all over the place. And I don't know how to put what I feel into words because I'm so conflicted in this chapter. But please bear with me. But before we get started, I just want to remind our viewers that if you like seeing more yaoi content and would like to support this channel, please don't forget to smash that like button. Also, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Feel free to message me in my social media at ZEALED FUJOSHI, which I'll be using to interact with viewers about more yaoi content. If that's something that interests you, feel free to follow me at ZEALED FUJOSHI. Finally, this episode will contain explicit content and a lot of manhwa spoilers. With that in mind, please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Now, without further ado, let's jump into chapter 70 of Painter of the Night. Get in, losers. We're going for a character development ride. Took 70 chapters to get to this part, but here we are, folks. This chapter is like one moment everything is cute, then a part of this is poetic, and then it goes sad, and then it starts getting hot. Then you feel all this tension, and then it's suddenly sweet. Ugh, my poor heart can't keep up with this roller coaster of emotions. But this is a good start though. I'm not forgiving Seungho yet, but I want to see if he does keep his promise. I'll give him a little bit of my trust back, and if he breaks that trust, I'm taking his kneecaps. But man, did you guys see Seungho in this chapter? I'm sorry, but he's way too freaking hot again. Like, what the F? How did he manage to get even more sexier now? I feel a certain way when he looks like this. Damn, I'm scared to really let my guard down fully. Part of me is also really wanting to trust him again. But I also know how easy he has been with his temper, so we'll see. It made me laugh though when Seungho asked, "Do I frighten you?" Bish, do I need to tell you a list of everything you did to our precious baby Nakyum? I'm not gonna set my expectations too high with Seungho right now, but I'm still hopeful that he keeps his promise to Nakyum that he will not do anything bad to Nakyum anymore. Because I'm happy about them right now. Because seriously, I am hoping that Seungho is coming around now. But he needs to prove that he's sorry to Nakyum first. I would love to see him go through some kind of repentance, because this man is a whole kind of menace to Nakyum. But man, that piercing gaze, it really gets you. Like, I kind of understand what Nakyum is going through right now, because look at how gentle Seungho is right now. The way he moves, the way he talks. Damn it, Nakyum. We've talked about this a million of times already. Stop being a Seungho simp. Nakyum responses, "But CeeCee, did you see those damn back muscles? Oh my god, oof." I know, he just got super sexy. But maybe because he's generally more attractive now that Seungho isn't being a royal douchebag anymore. Or at least he's trying to not be a douchebag. But then again, whew, the temper, we know that he's like a ticking time bomb. But, going back to Na-kyum, we can't blame Na-kyum for being a simp. Like, who can say no to that face? And who can say no to that body? like, why is Seungho showing all of these visuals again? Like, Seungho is really flexing right now. Like, stop. My god, the Lord flexing his muscle is wholesome. And you know that it really has a good effect because you see Na-kyum blushing after seeing Seungho in the tub, and also that genuine smile. Oh my heart. Everyone, here are your simp IDs. Welcome to Simp Nation. Especially you, Na-kyum. You're simping again. In all seriousness though, even when Seungho is being nice, it's kind of impossible to relax. Because it's surprised to know that Seungho thinking that he really thought that Na-kyum was gonna die because of what he did a couple of chapters ago when he activated Na-kyum's PTSD. I believe though that Seungho is still stuck in the immature mindset that he has had since he was a child. Seeing his attitude and action, including this chapter, he's like a child that had a tantrum and he hasn't had to say sorry before. So basically, what he did in this bathtub is what he gave Na-kyum in this particular scene. The bathtub scene is a version of an apology. However, it wasn't really a full apology or a direct apology, but it kind of feels like he's trying to, fix whatever he freaked up a couple of chapters ago. I'm really hoping that this finally leads to finding out about Seungho's past, because seriously, we all need more context, right? I swear, I really hope that in the next chapter, which we know is gonna be a very steamy chapter, that, our baby doesn't, or at least gets spoiled rotten by Mr. Temperamental with daddy issues. Because I really do believe that this chapter is a good development. It's not a character development, but it's a good development for both of them. Because man, think about it. If you don't want to consider this as a development for Seungho, think about it, okay? Can you imagine Seungho laughing genuinely or smiling or even giving a slight apology in the beginning of this series? Because man, he doesn't. He's so selfish, but you can see him lowering himself to a lowborn in this chapter. And Seungho really knows how to use all of his asset, because that killer gaze, it's like giving a hole through my chest. Like, my god, fly me to the moon. But not Jung In-han, because he can choke. Anyway, I am getting flustered at the close-up panels because Daddy Seungho, and at the same time getting angry because Na-kyum really deserves better better things, right? But it's so hard to say no to Seungho in this particular chapter. He's really using all of his God-given assets. And also, you know, after seeing this chapter, I'm starting to believe that if this is how this series is gonna go, I'm starting to believe that it's really harder and harder to see Seungho and Na-kyum having a happy ending together. I'm still disappointed how the kidnapping arc ended. A lot of things that still doesn't make sense to this point of the story. We're already 70 chapters in, and there's still so many unanswered questions in this series that, you know, a lot of things just doesn't make sense. And I'm starting to see that the only way these two can really be happy is if Seungho will let Na-kyum go freely and let him be happy freely. But then again, a part of me also knows that I don't think Na-kyum can be happy anymore without Seungho. I don't think he can be happy without him. So maybe his happiness is with Seungho right now, but I really wish that Seungho would fix so many of his issues, because, like, example is when Seungho heard what Nuna said about Seungho, that Seungho will only bring misfortune to Na-kyum. This is so true. They're in a society where their sexual preferences is looked down upon, and not only their sexual preferences, the status of their, you know, their lives. Like, one is a lord and one is a lowborn. Not only do they have to do something about their sexual preferences, but also their ranking is another problem. So unless, you know, Seungho decides to just, you know, live in solidarity from everyone else, I think it's really tough for both of them. But then again, if they do have a chance of having a happy ending, we know that Seungho's personality is our way to the happy ending. We really need to know more information about how Seungho was abused, who abused him, how he was abused. And, you know, I will expect a lot of pain in the future of this series. And, you know, I think that in order for them to have a happy ending, a genuine happy ending, you know, Seungho has yet to realize how he is also ruining Na-kyum. And, you know, it's kind of impossible to see right now because Seungho can't bring himself to let go of Na-kyum. He can't. And then again, in this chapter, he also knows that he brought a new feeling to Na-kyum, which is despair. And I still think that he's acting out of fear than hate. So it's going to be a very tough road, not only for Seungho but also for Na-kyum. But, you know, I'm really happy that Na-kyum is holding his own again against Seungho, because in this chapter you're starting to see a little feisty Na-kyum again, where, you know, Seungho called Hena a wench, and, you know, Na-kyum stood his ground and said, you know, her name is Hena and she's my Nuna. So it's kind of like him saying, like, hey, you can't keep calling my sister a wench. Like, her name is Luna, so you better stop calling her a wench and call her by her name. And I can totally see that if Na-kyum reverts back to his feisty little side, I also think like this would be a turn on for Seungho, because remember, Seungho became attracted to Na-kyum's feistiness in the first place, and that also agitated him. It also excited him a lot, and he wasn't that happy when Na-kyum became so submissive and started acting like a whore. Seungho's words, not mine. And I feel like having the feisty Na-kyum back will change a lot to the storyline of this story. And then I kinda also feel that Nuna or Hena Nuna will ruin things. And if Byeonduck really wants to mess with us, Hena is one of the reasons why Seungho and Na-kyum won't have a happy ending. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. I'm really hoping that Seungho doesn't die in this series, but knowing how poetic Byeonduck has been in the past couple of chapters, I'm starting to see the possibility of Seungho actually dying, and Na-kyum's painting will be the sole reminder of who Seungho was to Na-kyum. Seungho was the first person who loved Na-kyum's painting and accepted Na-kyum for who he is. And I think that will really mean a lot to the title of this series, Painter of the Night. But there's also the possibility that Hena Nuna might just come back and forcefully take Na-kyum back with her, making Seungho go berserk once again. And if he goes berserk and does anything to harm Hena Nuna, exactly how he warned her in the previous chapter, that if Hena Nuna does come back to the compound, that she will die. That is a threat. And if Seungho does harm Hena Nuna, the Nuna will leave the Nuna's. If he harms the Hena Nuna, this will put a big dent on their relationship. And once again, that Seungho isn't any good for Na-kyum then, making Na-kyum waive his feelings over Seungho. And then there's also just the plain possibility that Na-kyum might just reject Seungho in the future. And if, remember, Na-kyum hasn't given Seungho an answer yet. And if he does end up rejecting Seungho, this will destroy the young lord. And for sure, Seungho will go berserk. And knowing how psycho he is, he's gonna burn the whole town. Or paint the town red, whatever. But even though I have all of these negative ideas in my head, I am still hoping for that happy ending. It's still there. There is still a plain possibility of them being happy together. But until the whole fact that Min and Jiwa are planning something is making me anxious and very unsettled. And then there's also that mystery man in the last chapter. And a member of our Discord channel, Heaven's Night, guesses. And it could be the foreshadowed Lord Sung that was part of Jiwa and Seungho's conversation during the kidnapping arc. Let me know what you think about this mystery man, and why do you think the person you guess is the person behind that door. I made a whole list of my guesses in the previous episode, so make sure you check that one out too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to follow my social media to be teased about some of the boys' love that I'm interested in. Feel free to leave me a message and converse with me in my Discord channel. I'd love to hear back from you. And please consider supporting the show by donating as little as 99 cents. You heard that right, 99 cents through www.sealedfujoshi.xyz. Also, don't forget to support the author. All the manhwa details can be found in the description below. Again, thank you so much and hope to see you next time.